Hello everyone, welcome back to the Big Bad Bench. My name is John, aka Big Bad Biologist, and next to me we got Bri.
Hey.
We're gonna be working on Bri's Macintosh SE30 that seems to have a power connector issue. Oh no, not that thing. Okay, here we go. But first I want to show this off. This is a new little device from Ron's computer videos that you can buy at Joe's Computer Museum website. I forget what it's called, but the bag says SE Combo. Oh no, that's not it. No, that might be it. I don't know. Yeah, no, this is what it was said. SE Combo MPU. So what this lets you do is connect a regular ATX power connector, and you connect your power connector thingy onto your logic board. You connect your VGA up. And I apologize for my voice too, because I was sick this week. I'm better now, but there's still junk in my head. So you connect all this up. Oh, let's put in a speaker. And we're going to use a regular old ATX power supply. Did you just hear that? So we now have this thing out on the bench. We can work on it out on the bench. And you probably can't see real well because I moved my camera today to try to get two bodies in the scene. But we're now booting up. We got our VGA working. How freaking cool is that? Awesome job, Ron. This is a really cool device. And, you know, I've worked on boards like outside of systems, and it's fine. But, like, you have an open analog board there, and I mean, obviously I've shocked myself before with those, so you don't really want to do that, and this makes it way safer to work on these kinds of things. So yeah, look at that little SE30 booting up. So this works on the SE and the SE30. I think he's doing a version for the Classic and Classic 2, which is super cool. I should have not let it boot all the way up, but there you go. You see, prove it works. So we're going to use this to confirm that we fixed Bri's SE30.
Cool. So that's just like a replacement for the analog board, basically?
It's the replacement for everything.
Wow.
Yeah. Get rid of the monitor, get rid of the analog board, the power supply. That Ron.
Yeah. What a guy.
All right, so let's go back to this. Switch that off. All right, let's get rid of this SE30 logic board. This just proves that we know that we can have a working SE30 logic board. That. Hey, all right, I forgot to say hi to folks in the chat. Let's say hi to folks in the chat while we open up this SE30. So we actually worked on this thing last weekend, and we thought that we had it working, but apparently I was wrong.
So the problem is very intermittent.
So what happens with this thing?
You leave it running for enough time, and then it just, shuts off, like the connection to the analog board got cut out somehow. And I don't know necessarily like what the trigger is, but there was one point where I had, the the SD card on my blue SCSI taken out. So it just booted to, flashing question mark floppy disk icon. And I left it there running for a little while, and it still shut down. So I don't think it's about memory. I don't think it's about probably not that much about heat. It's probably just, it kind of seems like there's just a flimsy connection in there. So,
yeah. So this machine was repaired, it was originally Technight's.
Yes.
And he repaired it, but he said that he thinks there might be an issue with the analog board connector. Oh, so yeah, let's see. Sorry, I forgot to say hi to folks in the chat. Oh my God, there's so much chat. I'm sorry, everyone. You have to say hi again. We got Jack 68K, Vic the Vicar, Dave's Vintage Apple Tech, Trina's Techno Babble, All Things DG, Epictronics, Garth Beagle. I'm missing people. K-Mac Vintage. Callan's here. What's going on, everyone? Thank you so much for stopping by today. I'm sure there's people I missed, so say hi again. All right, so we're gonna take this out. Let's set this over here. I think Tech Knight likes his Diet Coke.
Apparently so.
All right, so let's zoom in a little bit. Hey, Eric Helgeson is here. You just saw your you missed your blue scuzzy booting. I think we're gonna get rid of my face because you can kind of, well, you can probably see Bri when he comes over. So we're gonna use the move gun.
Shot.
Yeah, you gotta stay in shot. We're a professional setup here. You know, we gotta act like we're like a real production.
This is educational for me because I'd love to get better at soldering, and right now I'm terrible at it. And the last thing I tried to do was desolder the power cable for the SC30's fan from the analog board, and I had a solder sucker, but I could not for the life of me get the all of the solder out to the point that I could pull out the wires. And now I see that you've got, you know, this much fancier, much nicer desolder tool here that I've never used before.
Yeah, these are pretty nice. They're so this was a gift from Gut Bomb.
Oh, cool.
If you want to give it a shot to show you how it works.
I can give it. Sure.
You can just do one.
All right.
So you just put it on top of the thing. You'll
Till
see it heat up.
Yeah.
And just pull the trigger.
Pull the trigger. Seems pretty easy. All right. I've got butterfingers though. All right.
There you go.
You get it?
You got it.
All right. It's so easy. Even somebody like me can use it. I'm a programmer. I'm terrible with hardware.
It all just takes practice.
Yeah. Now I'm getting better. I can wield screwdrivers, but I'm still not so good with soldering irons.
So, and probably the thing you ran into is on that analog board, there's a very big ground and or power plane. And it takes a lot of heat to soak up, you know, to get the solder to melt. And so even though we sucked up all that, there's still some residual solder.
Yeah.
We're not just gonna gank on this thing.
Yeah.
We're gonna use the hot air station.
Okay.
To now come in, apply some heat and remelt all of that.
All right. Oh, somebody in chat is asking if this is the Blob Blob creator. Yes, I am the Blob Blob creator. And I'm hopefully going to use this SC30 to make another classic Mac game. I've got one in the works that will actually run on 68K hardware.
So he definitely needs a functional machine.
Yeah.
There we go. So that just came out. Oh, yeah. All right.
So what are we looking at here?
So, you know, we can see, well, I guess we should make it so that they can see too. One of these things is not like the others.
Yeah.
So Tech Knight said that he he had to repair one of these pins, and it seems like that's one of the pins. So we got in some new connectors this week. And this should hopefully just pop in there.
Very nice.
Now we're going to get our Chungus iron. I should have heated that up first, so we'll have to hang out for a moment. Eric Helgeson wants a paid advertisement for a blue SCSI in your video game. Yes, Marcus Mayfield, we are working on one circuit here in the BigBadBench, and so whenever I use my hot air station, we make the lights flicker. Okay, so let's use this. What do we got today? I forget what this is. I think it's 60/40 solder. I forget if it's 37. Let's let the hot iron or the iron heat up a little bit. So after we get done with this, we're going to revisit, well, maybe not revisit. We got another Macintosh IIvx. The last IIvx was battery bombed. We're currently up to 27 repaired traces, and it doesn't do a whole lot. So I was like, all right, so let's buy another messed up IIvx, and that'll help us hopefully fix this one. Probably not. We're probably just going to wind up with two broken IIvx's, but you know, good intentions. I just want to double check that the little thing is in the right orientation. We don't want to stick that on the right way. I'll probably check it at least twice more.
Good to have a reference.
Yeah. So we're just touching both the pin and the solder pad down there. Just let the solder flow. And when I add the solder, I'm touching the opposite side of the pin so that we're sure everything is hot enough. Because you can touch the tip, and you can actually use the solder to help heat transfer a little bit, but this really double checks to make sure that you're heating everything up thoroughly enough.
So that's to say you're touching the socket pin with the soldering iron, and then touching the solder to the pin.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, the last times I tried soldering, I think I had issues where I either used too much or too little solder. And sometimes it wouldn't get hot enough, and I was like, am I using because my soldering iron can get pretty hot, but I feel like maybe I'm using the wrong tip and it's not transferring the heat properly.
Yeah. Well, especially things like analog boards where you have really giant power planes. You want to make sure to have a giant tip to get that thermal mass. That's why we're using what I call my Chungus iron, and this is what I use for most of my other regular stuff. But yeah, there's a couple pins here that are going to be attached to power planes, so we want to get heat in there. We have other things like the video signal that goes through here that will not have very big solder pad. Well, it's the biggish solder pad is just not attached to much. All right, so that should be it. We'll give that a little clean. All of our pins are nice and aligned. We didn't heat it up too much. If you heat this up too much, the pins can kind of melt the plastic and your thing kind of moves around. Isopropanol.
This is why it's important for motherboards to practice good oral hygiene.
Yes. Don't want your motherboards getting cavities. A little stubborn. We're gonna blame that on Tech Knight. That's his flux.
So how delicate are motherboards like this? Like, how much do you have to worry about scratching them, burning them too much?
Well, so like this side is pretty durable. The other side, where the electrolytic capacitors have leaked, there's going to be spots that are much more fragile. Once the corrosion hits those things, the traces, things can get a little sketchy. Generally, the older the computer is, the more durable it is. Starting around this era, things started getting tiny and they're a little bit more fragile. But yeah, this side of the board, you can see this is all like a ground plane.
Yeah.
So a lot of it's fine. But this side, our traces are way tinier. All right, here we go. Let's use Ron's little device.
Yeah.
Okay, 3, 2, 1. Chime.
Sounds good.
So Eric Helgeson is saying battery. Yeah, so generally what I like to do is get rid of these kinds of batteries. I replace mine with a CR2032. These are much less likely to leak onto the logic board. A lot of the issues, I mean, the reason I had to repair 27 traces there is because one of those batteries leaked. And so you might want to consider this. Actually, Ron makes a little thing that I think just slides in that same spot, but has a CR2032 holder on it.
Oh, okay.
So they're much safer.
So is that the original battery that was in this computer, or is that
It's the original style.
Okay.
We can check the date on it. All right, so we booted up fine.
Yeah. So.
Oh, this is from May 14. Jeez. Tech Knight, bro. Leaving how many years is that? 10-year-old battery in this thing? Hey, Eric's Edge. Yep.
All right. So it's say this repair doesn't fix it. What else could it be at that point? Would we start suspecting something is wrong with the analog board?
Yeah, I think we'd swap out your analog board for one that we know is good, and then confirm that would solve it. Ideally, we'd just swap one thing at a time and just make sure. So yeah, but
Yeah.
this is a good start.
Yep. And it seems like a likely culprit because, well, there was one point where I jiggled that cable and managed to trigger the computer to shut off. So, yeah, that is probably the place to start. All right, so now I'm like paranoid about this battery situation. Well, I'm new to all of this. Like, I've used old Macintoshes plenty, but actually maintaining them and dealing with the hardware, that's all new to me.
Well, I mean, if you want to hang out, we can pop that out and replace it.
Sure. Okay. I'm in no rush.
Cool. All right, let's bomb-proof this.
Yeah. Well, hardware bomb. I'm sure I'm going to trigger plenty of software bombs in this thing.
So for this, we're going to use my old school solder pult because this is attached to probably an internal ground plane in addition to this checkerboard external ground plane. And so we're just going to dump a ton of heat into this thing. Replace some of that solder. Okay. All right, people are happy.
Oh yeah, lots of encouragement
Yeah.
for getting a new battery in there.
Yeah, batteries are a sore spot in the vintage
I appreciate
computer.
all of you looking out for me and my SE30.
These are also a little tricky to take out because there's a little pin that tries to prevent it from falling out. Okay. Eric wants us to check the voltage. .367. Still good. We're going to keep that on the big bad bench. Wait for it to explode. All right. Do we have a battery holder? Oh yeah, I got one. All right. So this is my patented mod. So you're going to get a big bad biologist special today.
Yes.
So I keep, if you haven't been able to tell by here, I'm sort of a hoarder.
I'm impressed with the number of classic computers that are surrounding me right now.
I still have never done a shop tour publicly, so you're the first person that's really seen it. Hey, Zodium's here. How's it going, Zodium? I'm not gonna lick it. Okay, I'm gonna turn on the smaller iron. I'm gonna take this and bend this little tab this way. No, Steve's the only person that gives waffles away when people visit. Okay, so we took that. Oh, I broke it. All right, that's fine. We don't really need it anyway. Straighten that out a little bit. Now we're going to take a little bit of flux, put it on that little, I don't know what to call this. It's kind of like a little butt crack.
It's a good name for it.
So right there.
Am I correct that this battery is about hanging on to things, what is it? Things like the system time and other little bits of data that are supposed to persist between boots.
Yeah, and really there is a piece of software that you can do for most of the things except for time. One of the things that I find most useful is the mouse speed. It keeps the mouse speed.
Oh, yeah. That's an important one.
Yeah. It does stuff like for other machines that have color to remind the computer what color depth you're using. Some of them, like my LC2s, like to default to black and white when I don't keep a battery in them. So I'm gonna take that, just gonna put that in there like that. Okay, so now that's a nice solid joint. And then this side is the plus. That's the minus. Bend that down like that.
Lovely.
Yeah, we might need the big iron for this. Let's see. Yeah, we got it. We got it. Okay, that should do it. And I just happen to have a spare 2032 right there.
Cool.
All right, does everyone feel better now? Make sure connected. Yep, we're good. Now we gotta clean this one.
Is that just isopropyl alcohol?
Yep. It's one of those alcohols that's good at cleaning a lot of stuff and tends not to hurt plastics.
Right. Yeah, I use it a lot just for everyday electronics cleaning.
Yeah.
I figure it's good for circuitry too.
Okay. Eric says a disaster averted.
Yes.
And Garth wants me to paint your case. I don't paint cases, Garth. What the hell, man?
Yeah, if I'm gonna paint, if anyone's gonna paint it, it'll be me. I'll come up with like a cool design for it. I am like slowly finding fun ways to like customize this computer and like see if I can make it my own in ways I never did the last time I had an SC30.
Nice. All right, let's stick this thing back together.
Yeah. I'm tempted to get a 32-bit clean ROM for it, because why not?
Why not? Do not paint SE30 cases, people. Jeez. If you want to paint a regular SE case, I won't argue with that, but not an SE30 case. Especially this one is in pretty darn nice shape.
Yeah. I can't resist asking. To my right, out of shot, there's a Macintosh SE1 out of 20, 1/20th.
Yeah, so that was it had 1 megabyte of RAM and a 20 megabyte hard drive.
Okay.
Yeah, it looks cooler than it
Right.
actually is, but I feel like it was kind of a rare case. I think they might have been in Europe. That one actually did come from Germany. Okay. Jack 68K says, what if I paint an SE30 case and then silkscreen Macintosh SE30 over it in Comic Sans? Ooh, Comic Sans, that's going to cause some people to have issues as well.
Everyone's favorite.
All right. We don't have a III DIY cam today because I just broke one of my HDMI cables, so you're gonna have to trust me if this actually works.
I can help confirm. I can see the screen too. Good start.
Turned on. All Things DG confirms that SE 120 and 140 were in Europe. I80386SX is here. Hello. KMac Vintage is here. Oh, Will, what do you have? What did you just make 20 of? Oh, Universal 8 meg ROM. Okay. Yeah, Will, you're a mod, so make sure put the link in the chat. Will has an online store where you can get lots of stuff for these, but one of the things he sells is ROMs for these. KMac Vintage. There we go. Start it right up.
Okay.
Hey, Retro Macintosh. Who else did I see? Retro Tech Tom. Hello. All right.
All right.
We did some work here.
Yeah, hopefully this will have it running good again. I mean, we won't know until it's been on for something like 48 hours. I don't know if I can leave it on for 48 hours straight, but it's been on for a good while without shutting down. Before, it wouldn't really make it much like. I don't think it ever made it longer than an hour before it lost power.
Oh, really? It was that short?
Yeah. Maybe, I could have. Definitely not longer than 2 hours. So.
Hey, Retroviator. Hello. I need to get you one of the mounts for these so that you can use your SD card easier.
Yeah, this one isn't too bad, but as I recall, Tech Knight didn't have an external blue SCSI on hand when he was fixing this up.
Oh, he included that with it.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Wait a minute. What's wrong? You have double tape for that blue SCSI?
No, it's
It's Velcro.
It's Velcro. It's high tech, Eric. Eric Helgeson is the inventor of the blue SCSI.
Yes, yes, I remember. Thank you, by the way. The blue SCSI is amazing. It's one of the one of the things that makes using a classic Mac so wonderful now.
He's complaining that it's not attached internally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is loose in there, it's true. Don't worry, this is all a work in progress. Before long, I'll have whatever the right hookup for the blue SCSI is, a nice painted case, a 32-bit clean ROM, whatever else.
We just need it to stay alive for an hour or two. Okay. Let's do one more chime check.
Yep.
Looking inside, making sure the blue SCSI isn't up against the CRT or anything.
Yeah.
Oh, it's switched on. Chimed. That's good. Okay, there we go.
Yeah, it's looking good.
Much like Lego, there are illegal blue SCSI building techniques. I80386SX says geeks like to leave the drive loose.
I did do something kind of naughty when I was replacing the fan, because I couldn't take the original power cables off of the analog board. I just left them in there and then taped the other ends up with electrical tape.
Yeah,
Which I
I
understand
saw that before.
is
It's
fine, but it's not the most clean and elegant way of having dealt with that.
Well, that's true, and people want. You can set that down if you want to hang out. People like that I do things janky sometimes here, and so that fits in well. All right, so that was one project. It was good that we did a project. We saved that SE30 from a battery bomb.
Yes, I
potentially.
very much appreciate that.
So let's set this aside, and it's time to work on this mess today. So, this is the Macintosh IIvx I just got. This one, my other one does not have the CD drive. This is pretty cool that this one has the CD drive, one of those cool caddy drives. I already popped it open and blew it out. So that was one thing that we didn't have to do on stream. So first off, they had already taken the battery out. Second off, look at all the traces that are still intact. That's way better. I think those are probably 4 meg sims, which is cool. But I don't know if you can tell. Look what we got. We got corrosion. So the caps are definitely going. I kind of want to power it on to see if it powers on, but I also don't want to power it on. What do people think? Should I try to power it on in its ugly state? I think what I want to do at very least is use a different power supply, because I do know that the power supplies of these things tend to go. So I don't want to subject it. Oh, look at that. Everyone's saying power it up. This is, I tell people when they get a new computer, don't just plug it in and power it up. We can see that this one's not too bad, so I'm kind of okay with that. What do we got here? I forget how these power supplies are held in. Take that out. I don't see any Rifas with bare eyes, but we're not going to take that chance.
Rifas with bare eyes. To somebody that doesn't know much about this or what that means, that sounds very poetic and mysterious.
With my bare eyes, I don't see any Rifas. Rifas are a type of capacitor that are prone to crack, like they're a plastic shell, and once the shell cracks, they can explode.
Right.
They don't tend to damage things when they explode, but they make a big mess and they stink.
Do the capacitors still work once they've cracked and exploded like that?
No, but those are safety caps, so that they don't. They're basically there to
they're not
absorb
essential.
noise. Yeah, exactly. And so some people still use them after that happens. Although there are certain failures where it can actually cause your breaker to trip once they've gone. Let's see. I forget how this guy comes apart. Oh, we gotta take the whole thing off.
Yeah, it looks like it's one big piece.
Man, so many calls for magic smoke. Yeah, there we go.
I think this is the first time I've ever seen the inside of any in the Macintosh II series.
Oh, This was the first one where they had a metal chassis, like that, the external chassis. Oh, this is nice. So this has two 512K VRAM SIMs. That's a nice little addition. The caps over here are not super bad. These ones in the back are not good. And I think that's the power on circuit there. Oh yeah, look at the coloration around the logic board there. Yeah, I have a feeling this isn't going to power up, but let's see.
We're gonna try anyway.
We're gonna try anyway. Where is my power supply? This one should be recapped, so it should be good. And what else do we need? We need a video adapter. Oh, I have it around over here, sorry.
While he's off camera, I'll do a little jig. There we go. Keeping you all entertained.
Entertain the troops. Okay, that just goes on there like that. Okay, it's no automatic fan spin. I'm sorry, I gotta go grab a keyboard. Okay. There we go. 3, 2, 1. Holy crap.
Wow.
It chimed. Sweet. That is epic. We got gray screen. Come on, give us round corners.
Can it do it?
There it goes.
Nice. Oh, we got a cursor.
There you go. The thing actually worked.
Wow.
Dang. This is exciting. So I'm gonna grab one thing here. So the reason that this is particularly exciting is because in the battery bombed 2VX I got was this little guy. This is a Power PC upgrade card for a 68030. Well, it's specifically for the 2VX. So
Oh, cool.
I'll be able to test this out. So I'm really excited about this. This was like a stunning find inside that computer. I did not know it was there when I got it.
So if you get a Power PC upgrade for a 68K Mac, what happens to the 68K processor? Does it basically just switch over to using this Power PC CPU completely?
So I don't know exactly on this one. I know with my 2CI that I have a 68040 upgrade for that one. And basically it boots with the 68030. Once the extension kicks in, then it starts using the 68040.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay.
Man, I can't believe that chimed and worked and powered on. This is exciting. All right, so before we damage this thing, let's get those caps off of here. And I was prepared. People don't like it when I leave screws all over the BigBadBench, so I was ready this week. I had a bag in advance.
Yeah, one of my big issues anytime I take apart anything is losing the screws.
Yeah.
I try very hard not to, but the way I like to think of it is that I actually am really good at sleight of hand, but the only person I'm good at it with is myself, and I use it to make screws disappear. I don't know how I do it. It's like 1 minute they're there, the next minute they're gone.
I normally organize things after the streams, but people don't see that. They think I'm particularly very unorganized.
I can at least say you are a lot more organized than I am.
Set you aside. The other thing is my other chassis from the battery bomb. This was all rusty, so I had to do a lot of rust repair in there. All right, so we're gonna need the hot air station, but we need a nozzle. Get off these sims. Eric said uses pill cases for screw management. Yeah, that's a really good strategy.
I've done that before, yeah. That is a good one. I think what I need, though, is more pill cases, because the one I've got right now is already filled with screws.
Wow. Okay, so now that I'm looking at this, look at you can see the discoloration around where all those caps have leaked. All the cap juice has collected dust around there. All around there. This whole area is a mess. Yep, you can see it there too. You can see where the board is shiny versus where it's not. That's all the cap leakage. Okay, so now we're gonna need our highly technical heat shields. Forceps, we're gonna go, I think we're at 350. Yeah, we're gonna do 350 today. It's cool in here, but it's not super cool. Once it gets colder out, I tend to go up to like 380, 390 degrees Celsius. You can start to smell that lovely fish aroma. Normally I don't have other people here that get to experience this.
Yeah.
And of course, removing old capacitors is one of the most controversial things that you can do on the internet. Everyone has their ways of doing it. I like to use hot air. Some people snip and twist.
What are they connected with? I mean, that would just lifted right off. Is that just because you're melting the solder to the point that it just comes right out?
Yep, just melting the solder. I don't think these are like some of the other ones. If you look on the bottom of your SE30 board, you can actually see like the little surface mount caps are kind of glued on. There are some boards where you see a little dot of glue in the middle. But I don't think it's on this.
Gut Bomb says I use my teeth.
Gut Bomb uses his teeth to decap a board. Yeah, that's par for the course with Gut Bomb. Oh, Tech Ambrosia, are you still here? I forgot to say that we're still using my Cheap PC Challenge PC to stream today.
And yes, this is the first time I've experienced heated fishy cap smell.
These actually aren't too bad.
Yeah, I do smell what you're talking about, though. So is the problem with the capacitors leaking and exploding just an issue all capacitors are going to have as they get on to be several decades old, or is it just these particular capacitors?
These particular, with this style, are just bad. You know, like, there are some in the SE and SE30, the original electrolytic style, that probably don't need to be done. Most of the regular SEs and SE30s that I've worked on, the analog boards and the logic, or the analog boards and the power supplies don't necessarily need to be done. But there's certain styles that are just bad. Like these axial caps probably will last forever. Okay. Wow. Is that all we got? 1, 2, 6? Is that all this thing has? 6 of these things? That's nice. I forget. It's been a while since I worked on the other one. Alright. So we're gonna douse this with isopropanol just to do an initial cleanup. I'll take this in. I have an ultrasonic cleaner at work.
An ultrasonic cleaner.
So it uses ultrasonic sound to create like tiny little bubbles.
Oh, okay.
It's really good at cleaning electronic bits.
I love all of these little details that I'm learning.
Yeah. Yes. This is a mess. I'm really surprised this booted up. Look at that.
Ugh.
That's all the leaky cap juice. It didn't help that we just heated it up, but
Right.
that's what this does to these things. And eventually it corrodes all the traces. Can go up into the chips and destroy the chips.
Yeah. So if you have to repair a trace, is that actually done by repairing the motherboard itself, or do you have to do the little thing that I think I saw on my SC30 logic board where you take a little cable and connect the 2 points together?
There's different ways to do it. Yeah, like if it's a internally broken trace, then running a bodge wire across is the easiest way. So some of these boards, I don't know, particularly this board, it most likely has like 6 layers. And so if one of those internal traces gets broken, it's kind of hard you basically can't repair it, and so you have to run an external. Yeah, that's disgusting.
Like, super gross.
Yeah. So this board, no, I didn't repair any on that one. You can kind of see that I have little pieces of copper running on top because it was easy to get to the top of the traces.
Okay.
Retro Macintosh says he just uses his dishwasher. That's an option too.
Yeah, you can do that. It's true.
I ain't gonna hate on that. Can use a old electric toothbrush. This is what I did before I had an ultrasonic cleaner. That's why this old electric toothbrush is scarcely electric anymore.
Well, now it's for electronics, so I guess it's still got the electric bit in there somehow.
So one of the things we're going to see here is actually 2 of these traces got hit pretty bad, but luckily they're very big traces, so they're probably fine.
Am I correct that isopropyl alcohol is not electrically conductive?
Correct.
Right. So you could power this thing on before waiting for it to dry, and that wouldn't be the end of the world.
Yeah. I try to dry things before just to be a stickler. But theoretically, if you don't get every drop, it should be fine. Callan says, what size ultrasonics do y'all get? I was looking at a 30 liter. I got a 22 liter one just because I sort of gave myself a $200 limit. I really didn't want to spend more than that, and that's what I could find. And so it works fine for most things. For old AT boards, it kind of is not great, but yeah, I can kind of finagle it in there and angle it. All right, so for the next part, we're going to have to use the microscope. Just get some of this residual propanol off of there, just because when you're trying to solder on there, it's a really good heat dissipator.
Are you able to get what the microphone sees on the stream?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I hope anyway. When things
Right.
When things are working, it works.
Well, hopefully I don't alter the luck too much. I'm pretty sure I've got a little field surrounding me that causes certain computers and electronics to stop working.
Okay, so here, let's use the hot air to dry this so it's a little less reflective.
Kind of looks like a Photoshop filter.
Where are we? There we are.
How much heat can these components safely take before it's too much?
I don't know. I hope to have not found that out yet. That's why I normally stick to like 350, 380 degrees. There are things that you hear of called popcorning where you can mess up the layers of the boards. See this? This is where all the solder mask has come off. That's where the corrosion got underneath the solder mask. Not too bad. Not too bad though. The plastics will melt at, I don't know, like 300 or about, I guess, like 210-ish. I have done some experiments with that, intentionally trying to melt plastics for certain reasons. Okay, let's see. What am I missing in chat? Oh, Mr. Tech Gadget, hello. Just got here. Looks like you're still working on the 2VX. Who is your special guest? My special guest is Bri. And we worked on his Mac SE30 first. We replaced the logic board connector, and because there was such an uproar from the chat, we replaced his battery with a CR2032 holder.
I'm also here to provide the, I guess you could say the hardware noob commentary.
I've always wanted like a producer, like an assistant. Was the guy on the Tonight Show?
Oh, I don't remember, I'm afraid.
The sidekick
Yeah,
would always laugh at things.
right.
Okay, so we're gonna just flux the heck out of this, and then we're gonna get some solder braid and our Chungus iron again. So we're just cleaning up. There's that little residual corrosion on the pads, and now that all goes away.
All right.
And we can use this to sort of, yeah, we might need to polish that up a different way. Sometimes you can get away with just using the solder braid to polish up the corrosion off of the traces. Oh, it's starting to work.
So this is a total like soldering newbie question, but is the purpose of flux to... my first understanding of it was that it kind of helps heat get to where it needs to go, but it also is helpful for cleaning.
Yeah, well, it encourages solder to adhere to metal better.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, so
I should probably learn how to use it properly.
yeah, if you are trying to solder, especially like if you use new lead-free solders, some of them don't include like a flux core, and it's like basically impossible to solder.
I think the non-lead solder I got did have a flux core.
Okay. But yeah, leaded solder is good stuff.
Yeah, do you feel that the inclusion of lead makes it, I don't know, health or environmentally unfriendly?
Well, I mean, on a grand scale, yes. For yourself, like, no.
Yeah. It's probably such a tiny amount of lead in the first place.
Yeah.
And it's not like I'm going to be eating it or using it in my pipes or anything.
Exactly. There we go. See how nice that is now? Got rid of all that corrosion off of those traces.
Yeah. And then the, I forget exactly what it's called, but the copper thread that you have, what's the main use for that?
You mean this stuff?
Yeah.
So that is used to make bodges.
Oh, I mean that stuff, the one you've got in your
the solder braid.
Solder braid, yes, that's what I meant to say.
So this is it's also called solder wick, and so you can put this on here. See how there's residual solder on the pads? We want to get rid of that because it's old and it's partially corroded, and so this just sucks that all up.
Okay.
I use it also as like a little abrasive to help clean up angry traces.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, you can see how compared to where we started from, the pads look way nicer. My flux is very excited. It just keeps leaking out everywhere. Hey, Eric Rangel, welcome. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is get out our replacement caps. And these look a little different. These are tantalum caps. And it's just a different style. They're still a capacitor, so they store charge temporarily. These ones will never leak. The problem with these is when they fail closed. But normally, if you have a short on your board, your power supply is going to sense that. It won't let your power supply power up. Okay, so when I put these on, I like to add solder to one pad, solder to one pad, get out our caps. The other thing to note is that on regular, the electrolytic style, the stripe is going to be the negative, and on tantalums, the stripe is going to be the positive. Oops, sorry about that sound. That was unpleasant. Okay. Come on, board. Why you gotta squeak at me? One thing you gotta be careful of, see how there's a trace that runs between these two pads? Sometimes when you get corrosion, the solder mask comes off, and that can make it easier to create a short under there. And so you can put new solder mask back on to make sure that that doesn't happen. Oh yeah, you can see over to my left that there's two traces there that have lost their solder mask. Nice shiny joints. That's what we're going for. I apologize about this shininess in the microscope camera. Someday I'll get a better light source. Really don't need a microscope for things like this. I have a big magnifying glass that works fine. But even if you have decent vision, you don't always need magnification for things these big, these size. It just makes it a little bit easier.
And then also everybody on the stream gets to see.
Yeah, the reason I have this is because of the stream. I used to have a much smaller microscope that was totally fine, but tried to make something that people on the stream can see easier. And there's no functional reason that you have to make sure that they're perfectly straight. It's just my brain makes me do it.
Oh, I get it.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, yeah, we're down to our last 2. Let's see if this thing will power back up once we have replaced these caps. See if we destroyed anything. Wouldn't be the first time.
So if it doesn't boot back up, how do you start investigating what has gone wrong?
Yeah.
I just ask a mouthful right there.
Yeah, I mean the first thing is to start. I get out the oscilloscope and start looking for activity on the processor. Make sure you have voltage on the processor. Make sure you have your clock. Then you can start looking for other types of activity. See if the processor comes out of reset. Most of the time, you can also kind of just take a look around and look for a trace that might have been weak, and that in the process of doing all the heating and whatnot, that you've messed up that weak trace. Hey, Francois Revol's here. Eric's Edge says, check your work first. Yeah, make sure that you haven't like accidentally created a solder bridge, something like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Here we go.
Yeah, we've had good luck with everything chiming so far.
Yeah.
Let's see if that luck can continue.
Yeah, maybe you're a really good luck for me.
That would be a refreshing change of pace.
Should we get really stupid and just plug a blue SCSI into it? Let's do it exactly how it was set up before with...
That's probably wise.
Try to make sure you don't leave anything that can short out things underneath. Stick this under here. Sort of. Oh, just want to create a little spacer here.
Is that structurally sound?
Very structurally sound, yeah. I promised Eric this morning that there would be a zero jank on this stream. But I guess I got a jank. Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Uh-oh. We killed it.
Oh no! You hate to see it.
Wow. Dang, yo. Is this the right power supply? Yeah, I think. There it goes. Oh, and I forgot to plug in a speaker. Garth asks, is the power strip on? Which is typically the reason that my stuff doesn't boot up.
I didn't even think to ask.
Okay, we got VGA.
Yep, all right.
I think the power supply just wasn't seated all the way.
Yeah.
And we're
All
on
right.
to real gray screen
Yep, there we go.
with a mouse. There we go. Yay. All right, one
Very
last
good.
thing. Let's let it boot up. I want to see if this is actually 4 megs of RAM. Make sure not to shorten out down there.
You got the speaker plugged in, right?
Yeah.
I want to hear the chime.
Yeah, I want to hear the chime too.
Yes.
There's the chime.
What's everybody's favorite chime? There's a question.
That's a good question.
Yeah. I don't know if I have a favorite, actually. I mean, the one we just heard, I forget. I mean, that's like the third chime, I want to say. You have like the old school beep. Then you have like the SC30 chime. And then that one, I was on like the Quadras and stuff.
Oh, of course, Garth has to say the 20th anniversary Mac. All Things DG says 6100.
I don't know if I've actually even heard all of the different chimes that they make. Like not counting, actually, when did they stop doing a chime? But like, the only ones I can think of off the top of my head are the original, the SE30 chime, which you hear on a bunch of other Macs too, and then the one we just heard. That was the one that was, I heard all the time on my family's Centrus 610 back in like 1995.
Nice.
Which I think the Centrus 610, if I recall, is widely considered to be one of the worst Macs that Apple made. I don't remember the
I've
exact
seen
reason.
that.
I don't remember the exact reason why, but
I don't hate the Centrus 610. Although, well, actually, I guess after working on Tech Ambrosia's Centrus 610, I might hate it. I think, how many traces did we repair on this thing? Like on hers, it was like 14, I think, until we got it to work. Yeah, those are 4 meg sims. That is exciting. Sweet. Epictronic says Commodore PET as a startup chime. The old school beep. Hello, Socket Wrench. Welcome.
the old school beep will always have a special place in my heart.
Yeah. Count says the chime difference when you put a 601 into a 2CI. Do you think that would happen here? Let's see what happens here. Let's see.
Are we going to go for it?
Let's plug in that 601 card.
Yeah. I'm excited. I want to see what happens.
All right, here we go. This is the whole reason I bought this second 2CI. Lots of good ideas about chimes. Lots of opinions about the chimes. Yeah. Okay.
All right, here we go. Drum
There we
roll.
go. 3, 2, 1. No power.
Doesn't like that, huh?
Oh.
Does it work still now?
No, we've killed it.
Okay.
Nice.
It was just working a moment ago, though.
That is how things work here.
Yeah.
I think that might be a good cliffhanger to leave off this week. Yeah. Dang. We destroyed it by trying to upgrade it.
That is not what was supposed to happen.
I blame Dave too, Garth. Look at that. We are dead, people. Well, I think that's an awesome place to end. We'll have to come back next week and see if this thing chimes again. Yeah, actually, Dave's Vintage Apple Tech is doing a 12-hour stream tomorrow. Definitely check this out. I did not secretly switch the power strip. It's also controlling my soldering irons, which are still on. But anyway, let's end this here on a down note. We were doing so good.
So good. Well,
we had such a good day.
It was mostly success today. It was mostly
Yeah.
success.
We did a lot of good
Yeah.
stuff. We
And,
saved an SE30.
yes.
That's an important one.
Right. At the very least, even if the original issue with it like comes back again, at least it's got a good battery now. And
Yeah.
yeah, and I'm sure at some point, we can figure out like what the issue is if it comes back, which hopefully it doesn't.
Yeah,
I
hopefully
really
this'll
want
be
this
all
this
set.
magical little guy back in my life again.
Yeah.
Ever since I had to keep it turned off. I think I mentioned this in the chat, but I felt a real lacking in my life. Not having a classic Mac anymore.
They do have a nice little warm glow when you
Yeah.
leave it on. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah. Oh, and check out Tech Ambrosia tonight is streaming, and it looks like it's going to be kind of awesome. Doing something with a Sega.
Oh, cool.
And I think a VGA capture card or something, or video capture. So definitely check that out. I want to thank Bri for hanging out today.
Yeah.
And
Thank you for having me.
was a lot of
Thank you
fun.
for working on my computer.
Oh, no problem.
I feel so supported and so good about it.
That's the thing. We got a good little community around here. And so, as always, I appreciate you all. Have a lovely week, and I will see you next week.